Hi Lucia, welcome to the stream. We're gonna be doing today's daily, which is kind of a tricky problem to get right. Here's the description. Had a wrong answer initially. Yeah, it's tricky. But I wanted to explain there's a solution. Hey, JGas, welcome. I have a solution that is simpler to at least to implement than Smart Coder. Welcome. Almost wanted to come first. There is a solution that is faster, I think, than simulating. There's no need to simulate, use a heap or any of those things. We're just gonna count and do some math. Okay, so all right, so notice, the first observation here is that there are two lower bounds to the minimum number of intervals required to complete all the tasks. So I'm assuming you already read. Well, maybe I can reread it. So you're given an array of CPU tasks, each represented by letters A to C and a cooling time n. Each cycle or interval allows the completion of one task. Tasks can be completed in any order, but there's a constraint. Identical tasks must be separated by at least n intervals due to cooling time. Return the minimum number of intervals required to complete all tasks. All right, so one observation that is pretty easy to make is that the minimum number of intervals is going to be at least the number of tasks, of course. But then there's another lower bound, which is, so let's say that we consider all the tasks that have the maximum frequency. So let's say that we have A, B, and C that have so we can set them at first, and then here I'm gonna have the cooling time of size n, and then I can put A again, and then B and C, so they will be separated by, they will comply with the cooling time, and so on up until the M. So this is another lower bound, which if you think about it, is, so let's say that the max count, so in each of these segments we have n plus 1 elements, right? And the number of segments that we have is the max count minus 1. We're not counting the last one, because the last one is shorter. So that's why we subtract -1 to the max count. We multiply it by n plus 1 because we said that each have length n plus 1. And then we add the count of the max value. So how many there are that have the max count. So this is another lower bound. So we obviously are going to need, so this means that our solution must be at least the maximum between what we said right here. So the count, so let's say, so notice that we don't care about the letters, we only care about the values. So that's why we can count the tasks, the letter, and only get the values, because we only care about the frequencies. And this is, and we want to count the frequencies, counter. And so the max count is going to be the max of the keys of the counter. I know this looks complicated, but if you think about it, it's not such a big deal. Again, we're ignoring the letters. We only care about the frequencies, and then we are counting the frequencies. So the keys are going to have the largest frequency, so the max count. I lose the ability to think when I... Okay, so let me explain a little bit. So if you have A, then B, then C, and D, then if we have the counts will be of A we have 3, of B we have 3, of C we have 2, and of D we have 1, right? So these are the counts. There's nothing complicated, but I don't care about the letter. I only care that I have two 3s, 1 2, and 1 1. So I get this, and I create a counter, another counter that is going to have, for 3 occurs 2 times, then 2 occurs 1 time, and 1 occurs 1 time, right? So we first count this, and then we count this. From this we get this. And now I wanna get the maximum key, which here is, this is the max count, right? Which is A and B are the ones that occur the maximum times. So I'm calling this count, right? And I'm also going to want the count of the, so max count here is 3, and the count of the max count it's going to be 2, because there are 2 letters, 1, 2 letters that occur the maximum frequency, the maximum amount of times. Okay, so So going back to this formula, we said we wanted to multiply by n plus 1 because those are the number of complete groups. No, those are the sizes of the groups. And then we want, so the number of groups is going to be the max count minus 1 because we leave the last group is going to be incomplete, so we want to add it, and that is going to be the count of the max count. Yeah, that's correct. And then the other lower bound was tasks. So I think this is correct. So, but it turns out that we can always achieve this lower bound. So that is why this should work. So this is why this works. You don't have to simulate anything. And let me explain. So I first explained that these are lower bounds, but now I'm claiming that they can always be achieved. So let's see why. Let's see why it can always be achieved. So the way that I think about it, I don't know if I can draw this. I'm not very good at this tablet thing. So so the way I think about it is as a rectangle. Yeah, this is terrible, but bear with me. So let's say, without loss of generality, that we have A is the one that occurs the most amount of times. So I'm going to explain in a moment what this means. So, and then let's say that B occurs the same number of times. And these are, let's say that these are the only two that occur the maximum number of times, which is 6 in this thing. So here, the size of this grid, of this matrix, is n plus 1. And the size of this, the max count. So how many A's there are in this case, because A is the one that occurs the most with B. And so notice that we can do the tasks in this order. We do A, then we do B, then we do whatever we have here, and so on. We go down, and then we wrap around, and we do A again, then B, and so on, and we traverse the matrix by column, major column order. Okay, and so notice that there will be n elements between one occurrence of A and the next. So that means that we are complying with the cooling time. So this will work. So here, we're assuming that we don't have any other letter that occurs 6 times. all the others occur less times. So let's say now that we continue setting the letter. So we continue with C, and it occurs C time 3 times, and then we continue with D. But here we're not going to use this. We're not going to use this. We're gonna go down now. And so on, and we go over D, E, F. So we fill them in this order. Oh, sorry about that. We fill them in this order. Okay, and notice that these are always going to be valid because we will have them either in the same row, in which case they will be n tasks between them, or it could happen like here in D, that we wrap around and we have it in 2 rows, but we're never gonna get, since all these letters occur less than the maximum, then we're never gonna get one that is like this. For example, if you had a D here, then it would be a problem, because between this D and this D, there aren't n things. But we're never going to get these. And so we continue filling this up until if we run out of tasks, then we're forced to have idle time here. And in this way we have achieved the one. So now we have to count the size of this thing, which is what we that we had here. This, and here is easier to see because here we have first a rectangle. First we have this rectangle here, which is max count minus 1 times n plus 1. I'm repeating this so that it's clear. And then the number of, so the count of the max count. Okay, but what happens if we don't, if we have more tasks? If we don't get to the point where we have, we exceed the size of this rectangle, well, then notice that we can still fill it. We can still fill it and keep going on beyond the n plus 1. Okay, and we're still going to comply. Then notice that between one and the next there could be more than n in between. That doesn't bother us. And then at the end, we don't need to add more idle time here. We need idle time because we already have enough tasks between the consecutive tasks of the same identical task. And so in that case, the number of tasks, since we don't have any idle, it's going to be the length, the number of tasks. And this is the proof of why we can always achieve, by doing this assignment, we can always achieve the lower bounds. And so we don't need to simulate anything. Okay, so I just wanted to do a quick stream to explain this, because I had the intuition, but I didn't have a proof, so I kept thinking about it, and I think I cracked it. So remember that it's good. It's better to have a proof of why your algorithm works, so that you understand it better. All right, so yeah, that's all I have for now. So see you later. Bye bye.